Back, that took Hi guys, it's Shay, and in today's video I thought we could repot this Monstera Adasonii. I've been wanting to try this for a while, but I've been scared. So I did some research. So it's a moss pole, and plants that like to vine or climb, like this pothos here or this philodendron, they will thrive on a moss pole if you allow them to climb or, trail. I really love pothos, but I really want to see if I can get some really big leaves. And just look how beautiful that leaf is, and it has some, a little bit of a variegation. So this is the pothos enjoy, and look at these Monstera Adasonii. The leaves are already huge, look. So I really would love to see how big this can get. Now the issue is you're supposed to use cuttings. So I actually have this little water propagation. So it's like a marble pothos, I think. Marble pothos. It's got some established roots here. And I also have like a prayer plant just chilling in there, because if you put some pothos with another leaf, it actually makes it a lot easier to propagate, and it develops nice roots. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. Probably just going to put it in its own little vessel. But we are going to put this on a moss pole, and I just think it'd be a really cool experiment. Now I'm going to split it up into different videos because it's obviously going to be too long. But we're going to start off with this Monstera Adasonii. So what I'm going to do is remove, this is straight from the nursery. So I actually got this on sale. It said $26.99, but it was actually on sale. It was half price. So I paid $13 for this, which is crazy. I actually had one of these plants and sadly it died. I tried to rehab it, got root rot, completely died off. It was just so sad. So what I'm going to do is remove this soil. I'm pretty sure this is like coco coir or like peat moss or something. Just remove that. And then I'm going to build up this plastic moss pole, fold it up. I'm going to show you how to do that. Very simple instructions, like literally there's 8 steps and there's picture instructions. We love some good pictures, right? So I'm going to remove that and then position this on the moss pole. And it looks like there's 2 like kind of sections, I guess. So it's going off in this direction, going off in this direction. So I'm going to position this along the moss pole as well as this side by side. So hopefully they will grow up and huge. So if you are looking for more plant videos, please consider subscribing. My name is Shay. So we're going to do some relaxing plant care today. Ooh, that rhymed. Okay. Where is my chopstick? 1 second. Ooh, this is dirty. Okay, so I got my trusty chopstick. So last video, I actually repotted a couple plants, and I put that video here on YouTube. So let's get this out of the pot. Ooh, okay. Look at those roots. Nice and healthy. Okay. Looks great. Very healthy plant. Honestly, I am so shocked I got this for $13. Like, that is just crazy for me, because usually well-established plants like this is going to be about $30 plus. But I guess they were having a sale because it's almost end of the season. We're almost getting into August now. I just think it's so cool. So anytime I get a new plant, I like to spray them off with my little concoction of neem oil. So I put some rainwater, neem oil. Sometimes I put hydrogen peroxide just to clear off any of the pests, clear off the dirt and soil. It's like pest prevention. And I just like to just make sure I'm not bringing anything into my home and infecting other plants. So we're going to do that. So the soil, as you can see, it just looks like, regular potting soil. There's actually no chunks or anything. And I prefer to have a mix. Like if you see here, I had repotted this one. So I have a nice chunky mix in here. And that's what I prefer, so that the plant doesn't get overwatered and retain too much water when I water it. I want the water to fully fall through. So what I'm doing here is just taking a chopstick And I know it looks like I'm being rough, but I'm actually just kind of poking some holes in it, trying to get the dirt to just kind of fall out. So I find this is a lot easier when the soil is dry because it just comes away from the roots. So look at that system there. Looks pretty good. So this is pretty good. I like that there's two because I want it to be a lot more full. Usually, so from the videos I've seen, people get a lot better results when you use a cutting and let it grow up the moss pole, like kind of benefit from it. So that's what I'm going to do. But for this one, we're going to use this established plant. When you use a larger plant, it kind of doesn't really take advantage because the aerial roots didn't have a chance to grow into the moss pole. And that's what you would want it to do to take advantage of the moss pole. So I think this is a great size to start with. I've seen people use bigger plants and just kind of wrap it around the pole, but at that point, all the pole is doing is just like holding up the plant pretty much, you know, it's not really growing into it. I want these plants to grow into the pole and, you know, thrive. I want them to do good. It's like my little children. Okay. So there you go. There's the root system. Healthy, nice, healthy roots. Okay. As you can see, they're split into two. So let's see. I'm going to try to gently take these apart. I watched the Liquor Queen and she always says, like, don't be afraid to pull on the roots. They have more. Okay, so we lost some roots, but it's okay. They should be fine. Monsteras are very hardy plants, okay? So I will reuse this soil. I'm going to mix it in with my more chunky soil mix. But there you go. There's the roots. Looks great. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. Let's start with the moss pole. So I'm going to show you how I fold it up. All right, so this is a clear plastic D-shaped moss pole. When I did my research, it just seems like it's a lot easier to keep the spaghnum moss moist because when you have just completely open space, like it just dries out too quickly. So basic instructions, there's pictures. You know what I mean? Like you can follow this. So I will link this down below in my Amazon storefront if you would like it because I just thought the honeycomb designs were really cute. Plastic, easy to fold up. I think honestly it's as easy as it gets. And I did a lot of research and I decided this is what I would like to go with. So they have the transparent one, which is what I got, and there's also translucent, which will be a bit more opaque. It's going to be a little bit more white. So let's read this up. So installation steps. So clean off the middle of the plate, easy to use later. So I'm assuming it means like if there's any, you know, excess plastic blocking the holes like that, just take it off, which I did. Okay. Number 2, fold the two sides towards the middle according to the crease with the logo on the outside. So this is by the brand Leaky. I thought that name was so cute. Ooh, look at my fingerprints. So it's called Leaky. So it's punched here. So I'm going to do it like this. So it says have the logo on the outside. So we're going to fold it. Fold two sides toward the middle. Okay. So we're going to bend these, make this a lot easier. Okay, so one side is folded. And then the second side. Really easy, okay? So that's what we have right now. That's what we're working with. Perfect. Okay, so the third step, check if the required gear opening is open. All right. So make sure these are kind of like punched out. So they have 3 different sizes. So I can make it this big, can make it bendable this big, you can make it tinier. So I'm thinking, let's see, what size should I do? Let's go in the middle. Let's try those. So I'm just going to slide these in. Actually, hold on. It's so hard to get these folded. Okay, so tuck those in. Yay, we did it. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That took way longer than I expected. So this is what we have, the honeycomb design. Okay, I just lock those bad boys in. Here we go. That's a pretty good size, I think. I like that. It's not too big. Like I feel, and you can also like extend them. Let me prepare the soil now that this is done. So here's the soil mix that I have. So I'm going to mix in the old soil. Just want to make it a lot more chunkier. I'm also going to bring in my mix of soil. Okay, so I use the Pro Mix brand. I just got this here in Canada. I got it at my local Richie's. So let's just put on some dirt. This one has perlite added to it. So pothos like to actually dry out in between waterings. So I don't need the soil to retain moisture. So I just want to make this mix chunky so that the water drains through. And because I'm going to have to water the moss soil pretty often. Okay, so I actually have some extra soil here and just want to make this chunky. There's some marbles in here. I don't know if that'll, who cares? It was from my other pot. So I have some turfus. So turfus is what they use for bonsais. All it does is it maintains moisture. It sucks up water and then it releases it to the soil when it needs it, so when it dries out. So I'll put some turfus in here. Okay, and then I also have my mix here. So it's orchid media, medium fir bark, coarse perlite, charcoal, chunky peat, or spaghnum moss. So you gotta get like a mix of both. Just gonna finish that off. Okay, time to get messy. We're gonna mix this up. This is my favorite part. So make this nice and chunky, nice and well draining. I need to get some more soil because I just used up all mine. What I'm gonna do is throw in some chunks, like some rocks. I've got some leca clay balls here, so that's also gonna help. Just want a lot of like empty. I want some aeration to the soil, you know. Okay, so that looks good. Not as chunky as I'd like it to be, but it's okay. So we're gonna start filling the moss pole. Let's measure up the plant. This is how I kind of want it to go. Like this. And then here's the arrowroots. So I want that to run. I want it to grow into the moss pole, so it would, I'm gonna sneeze. Choo! I'm gonna put it like this. So it's gonna look like that. Okay, so I will fill it up. Let me try with a pot. Let's see. Okay, how does that look? Perfect. So I'll fill this up with soil here. I'm going to put some rocks in there too, just to make it a little bit heavier so it stays into the pot. And then the rest I'm going to fill with spaghnum moss, which I've already prepared, soaked it in water. But before I do that, let's fill up the moss bowl, and then we're going to attach this to this with just some plastic tape. I also have some plant Velcro, which I could use. Okay, that worked. I was like, I wonder if I could just stamp it in. There you go. Oh, perfect. So easy to get that in there. Okay, so fill that with soil. And then I'm going to fill this part up with sphagnum moss. So let me get that. Turns out my sphagnum moss had mold growing for some reason. So I was told that you could store it in a container like this, you know. So oh, it smells like a swamp. Ugh. Now I see what people talk about this. So here's the sphagnum moss I got off Amazon. I will link it in my Amazon storefront. Sphagnum moss. Looks cool. So I just wet it and I sprayed neem oil on it. So I'm going to squeeze it out. I want it to be damp, like moist, not soaking wet. And then you can pull it apart and it looks like this. And then I will shove it into the moss pool. And I don't want it to be like compact because otherwise it'll retain too much moisture. So I'm just gonna loosely pack it in. This is my first time using sphagnum moss and I am so intimidated by it because I don't know, there's a lot of care that goes into it. It has to be moist constantly. And every single post I saw on like Reddit was how do I keep my moss pool moist? Pushing it down, making sure it's not too compact. It does smell. It kind of smells like a bog. So not the greatest smell. But yeah, so like everybody was trying to troubleshoot on how to keep this moist. Some people suggested using a old water bottle, poking holes through the top of it, and then just hanging it upside down so it drips down the moss. Other people were kind of troubleshooting on how to water the moss without watering the actual plant, because it seems like the moss pool dries out before the plant does. So you don't want like excess water draining down the moss pool getting into the plant. So what some people did was put a little cup like this, put some rocks in it, and this is actually what the moss pool will go into. And then on the outside would be the soil, which is where the plant would be. And that way you could water the moss pool without actually having the water drain into the soil. But I don't think I want to water my moss pool that way because it has this open end here. I'm going to start with misting because I also want to water it with my nutrient solution. So I'm just going to be misting it every couple of days. It's all right for me because I have so many plants, but I'm only going to be putting a couple on a moss pool. So for me, misting it every couple of days, it's not that big of a deal. I already inspect my plants all the time, so it's fine. Okay. Moss pool number 1. Okay, so this is how it's looking. It's great. So I actually wasn't going to fill up this entire thing. I just wanted to show you how it looked. Here's how it will go. So I'm going to attach this to the moss pool. For this next part, my mic actually died. I didn't even know. Like, this is what I get for buying mics off Amazon. It's all right. But I was just explaining how I want the aerial roots to grow into the moss, so towards the back of the moss pool. So what I'm doing is just positioning them in a way that the roots kind of are guided into the moss. And since I will be keeping the moss moist, it's going to encourage them to grow. I think it looks great. Look at those healthy roots. I'm really hoping that this will take because I want to see these huge MONSTERA ADANSONII leaves. They're already huge, so I can just imagine how much bigger they get. So I'm just using some plant Velcro. I got this at the dollar store. I'm actually running out. I used up my last bit making this. But you can also use plastic tape, like clear tape. You can use zip ties, anything to attach this to the moss pool and just encourage it. So what I'm trying to do is tell the plant like, hey, look, there's something behind you and you get to climb it. It's nice and moist, you're gonna love it. So this is the final product. This is what it looked like. I'm so happy with it. So now I am just putting the dirt that kind of fell out back in there. And then I'm going to place the moss pool into the clear plastic cup and then, potting that up. So I'm going to be putting it into a cover pot. It's like a nice heavy one so that the moss pool doesn't top over. I got these in the dollar store. So there's these clear plastic ones. And I just took a soldering iron and poked holes in it to just allow more drainage. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I'm so happy that I got to do this do it yourself. It was fun getting messy in the soil. I cleaned up right after, but I am really excited for you guys to see how this looks in a couple months. I will keep you updated. So after the finished product, I decided to go put it into its new home. So this is my Ring of Fire philodendron, and I have 3 of them that I actually got from Canadian Tire. This is a rare plant and I got it for $4.99. Isn't that crazy? So I'm just moving this over and I have these 2 clay or ceramic pots here from the dollar store. It matches my aesthetic beautifully. And I'm just gonna put this in there. It's a really heavy pot, so this will not tip over. And I think this looks right at home. It looks beautiful. I like seeing all my plants. It fits right in, you know, right beside my caladiums. I like to rearrange my plants, so this probably won't stay here for long, but I think it's a nice spot for now, and I will keep you updated. So look at the final product. What do you guys think? Any questions, comments, leave them down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video. Bye, guys.